Yeah. Hippie soul in the building, man. What's good, yo? So, like, guys, on this video, right, we're gonna talk about like how to communicate with source. You understand? How to communicate with source. How to communicate with your own individual source. You know, your own individual inner being. You understand? Your own individual. But like, you have to understand that like source is everything. You know, think about it this way. Think about like energy as everything. You know, everything is energy, from physical to non-physical energy. You understand? And we are bodies that this energy passes through. You understand? We are sort of like conduits that this energy uses to pass through. I mean, to go through whatever that it needs to go through. You know, the conduit, that is what, that is source, right? So it's like, think about like life as energy, you know? Like, discard everything that you know about life so far, and then think about life as energy. Think about like how you perceive life. If you were told in the beginning that like life is energy, understand? So it's like source is energy, right? Like lighter forms of energy, right? Actually, source is everything, both lighter and denser forms of energy. You understand? So now, since y'all know that already, that like everything is energy, right? I've explained that it's energy from lighter forms to heavier forms. You understand? So when people talk about light, they don't mean like light as you see it. This light that you see is just an illusion of the light that is in weight. You understand? The light that is in weight, as in lighter and heavier. Understand? So where we are right now, we are at the heavy levels of existence. Understand? And God is at the lighter levels of existence. So He can travel anywhere, anytime, no space and time there. Actually, you understand? So it's like, once you get to that level, right, where you understand that like everything is energy, and that energy is always there. Like me chopping up the wheat like this with a scissor, it's energy. The scissor is energy itself, and me, I'm energy. And the act of me chopping the wheat, that is energy too. With the scissor, that is energy. Is energy mixing and mingling with other energies. You understand? But like us, when we look at it, we just say, okay, this is you chopping up your wheat with your scissor. That's the language here. But the language there above is like energy, right? Interacting with other energies. You understand? So that's why they say we are energy beings. You understand? We are energy in reality, or we are light, or we are like, we don't have bodies, we are souls, we are spirits. Understand? It's because of people don't like are starting to understand, right, that we are not this body. You understand? We are not this physical body, but we are the energy that this body emits, and we've been that energy. So now, since we are trapped in this body, in these bodies, right, since we are flowing in these bodies, we start to think as energy using these bodies. We start to think that we are this body. You understand? And we forget that no, this body receives energy, and we are the energy that the body receives. You understand? So it's like, how you communicate with source now is that you have to understand energies. You understand? Until you get to a point where you realize that there is a higher form of energy. You understand? Which is a lighter form of energy, right? Which means it can travel anytime, anywhere, and you can communicate it with it like right now, right here. You understand? And you can also realize after that you also are that same energy. You understand? And it's just that you are in a body right now, and you've trapped, or you've bogged yourself to a certain degree of the energy that you are. Understand? And the more you raise your vibration, you raise your consciousness, you raise your frequencies, you're going to reach to a point whereby now you are equal with that vibration that is source. You understand? And once you reach that vibration that is source, then you don't need to do anything. You just need to stand there and just look at life. Everything will fall into your lap. That's what I'm telling you. Every answer that you've been looking for, every problem that you've been having, it will just melt. You understand? Because now you are outside of space and time, you know. So like I like, y'all have to understand that the things that I talk about, the things that I chop up with y'all, like y'all gotta understand that these things, bro, like I don't just talk, bro. I write these things. You understand? I have a lot of pages. You know, I don't play, dog. Like, I also draw this shit. You know, like, I also draw like illustrations to show y'all niggas, like, bro, this is real shit, bro. This is real shit, nigga. Like, I really see this thing. You know, I really see these things. I know what I'm talking about. You understand? This is what I'm talking about. So it's like, think about it this way, right? This is energy, right? It passes through from the unconscious. It doesn't necessarily have to pass through that way, but it can go either way. You understand? So we are talking about our energies, right? The energies that we are, right? Our energies is passing through from the unconscious to the subconscious into the conscious world, right? And from the conscious to the subconscious and back to the unconscious world, right? So by that we know that, okay, we are in the middle, right? We're in the middle of receiving these energies, both the conscious and the unconscious. Actually, as I said, we are energy, but we are at the middle, so we receive energies from both the unconscious and the conscious realm, right? So now, since we are learning how to do that right now, which is what we are doing, and we are still learning how to do it, we're still learning how to perfect it, right? To learn that we are energy, understand? Everything is energy, we can't be destroyed. This energy that is you is just gonna go from one body to another, and it's not like the energy that is you. No, this body and its memories are gonna die off and then disintegrate to other dimensions, whatever, right? But your energy is not your energy. Energy is available everywhere. This tree, the energies that I have right now is the same energy that this tree has, right? But once I raise my level of consciousness, then I can raise my energy to a point, the energy that this body receives, right? I can raise the energy that this body receives to a point where it exceeds the amount of the energy that this tree receives. You understand? And then I can be much more enlightened than this tree, and I can get a body that is more engineered to think outside of the box of what a tree thinks. You understand? Which is standing still, whatever, however a tree behaves. That level of consciousness, understand? If you can box yourself there, that's what you're gonna be. You know? So it's like, since we are inside of the, as I said, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, right? We are in the middle right now. We are in the unconscious. Because these are all the states of consciousness. Probably not all, but these are the known states of consciousness, right? So now for us, when we say where we are, when we try to detect where we are in this frame of consciousness, right? Or this bandwidth, we're gonna say we are in the subconscious. We are always in the subconscious, and we always gravitate towards the unconscious and the conscious world, like day and night. Understand? At night you are in the unconscious world. During the day you are in the conscious world, right? Which is now your mind is active, always active, looking at things. But whatever that is comprehending what you are looking at is the subconscious. And in the very same way, when you dream at night, you in the unconscious world, the thing that like is the same energy that built this universe. Understand? The thing that makes you dream, the thing that makes you have certain kind of dreams for certain kind of days, is the subconscious. Understand? So we know that we are in the subconscious, right? We are trapped in the subconscious. I don't know how we got in the subconscious. It's probably because we need some lessons, right? And we're gonna remember when we die what kind of lessons that we needed, and which ones we were able to achieve, and which ones we need to go back for or move forward for. Understand? Things like that. So it's like, since we are in the subconscious, we should train ourselves, right, to either be in either of these states of mind. You understand? You can train yourself to be fully conscious or much more conscious than you already are, right? And you can train yourself to be unconscious, right, which is super conscious. You can train yourself to be like not conscious, like not consciously aware, right, but unconsciously aware. So you're gonna be aware of your dreams, you know, things like that. So like, yo, let me do this, and I'll go back. Alright, so now we understand that what is the subconscious, right? Which is like a medium, right, that you use to communicate with the conscious or the unconscious, right? So God is everywhere. You know, when they say God is omnipotent, He's in the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious realm. You understand? But you have to learn how to discern, right? You know, when the Bible says, like, or any other religious books, when it talks like, it says God sent His only Son, you know, out of the heavens, right, so that He can free him, since the devil was somebody else, right? But think about it this way, right, that God created this side, right? the conscious world, where he's gonna send all of the people or the spirits or the souls that didn't learn from him, that learn from Satan, right? That learn from the lower version of him, right? To this conscious world, right? So that they can learn how to become so that they can see, in the very same way that we are born to see our gifts. Yeah, it applies in the very same way, you understand? We are here to learn what we are worth, you understand? So that we won't be trapped into the conscious world, because the conscious world, God doesn't actually like the conscious world, because that's the first thing he's created, that's the first thought he has created, the conscious, you understand? To say, okay, boom, here I am, right? And after looking at himself from that view, he then went back to the unconscious, right? To say, okay, if I'm going to create anything else, then it's going to look at itself from that view, right? And it might be worse than me. So I'm going to send it there so that it can go through the subconscious, right? So that it can experience the subconscious, my subconscious, God's subconscious, right? Which is God's learning, God's teachings, It's the subconscious realm, it's the spiritual. That's why I like to tie the subconscious to the spiritual, but that's another video, you understand? So it's like how you communicate with God, right? How you communicate with source, not even God, like source, the omnipotent, right? Yeah, hippie soul in the building, man. Yeah, what's good, y'all? Just kidding. So yo guys, this is how you communicate with source, right? The original, not the God that these people tell you about, right? The God who wants good things for all of us. The God who wants each and every one of his offsprings to be like him, to look like him, to be good, to be God, to be good, you understand, like him. So we are here to learn that. That's why when somebody does something bad, when somebody does things that are very bad to other people, they say this person doesn't have a conscience. Understand? Because the conscious is the knowledge of those bad things, those lower vibration things that God has created. You understand? So now, being in the conscious world, we know that we are on a sentence. We are on a life sentence, right? We are in a life sentence. And what do we do with this life sentence that we are given? We are given this life sentence to ascend back to our natural state, which is being good, being God. You understand? So it's think about when you are hurt, right? When you are injured, right? And then you have a wound, right? That wound, the more you bathe, the more those, that dirt that's on that wound and other things that are on that wound are gonna come off, right? So that it can repair itself, right? In the very same way, this is what we are doing. We have come out of God, right? So that we can repair ourselves through the spiritual world's engineering. Right now we are in the physical world, right? We have already been engineered. So we are doing the purpose, right? For the spiritual world. You see? So that it's God is healing, but God doesn't heal because God is perfect, right? So I'm just trying to paint it from different pictures, you understand? But the point is that this is how you communicate with God, right? And you can communicate with God, this one that I'm talking about, right? The source, when you are in a bad state of being, right? And because, why? You can communicate with him, right? But he won't detect your message. Because why? It's at very, very low vibrations, you understand? So instead you are communicating with gods that are ruling this reality, right? That are trapped in there, which we call the demons, whatever. And they are all over the world, understand? Dressed up as people, whatever, You end up following those kind of people instead of following these people that lead you towards the good side of God, So it's communicating with God. you communicate with God through your feelings, right? And you gotta learn how to travel with your feelings, right? You have to learn how to travel with your emotions. Understand? So I'm gonna make an example for you before I drop this video, right? Like, you have to think about it, like, before anything can manifest, right? It's a feeling. You understand? So God has already filled up everything for us. We just have to go to those feelings, you know, at certain time, actually at any time. But that's what I'm saying, it's all about feelings. For me, you might feel that to do that for you would be like after a long time. For me, I would feel like maybe it's now. You understand? Like I have to do it now, you know. So it's like you have to look at it like you see, God only wants, like, but I don't want to personify God again, right? Because now we are talking about energy. Understand? Not only is we talking about energy, we're talking about like spiritual essence. You understand? Like, not even consciousness, right? We are talking about essence itself, you know. So now, like, being those healing parts of God, right? Because that's what we are doing. We are complete. God is complete, but it's like a process. You understand? We are in this process together with God. Understand? And is God experiencing this process through us, like through us, right? And again, He's experiencing it Himself, you know. So we are experiencing. It's like there's no even we and I. You understand? It's just an experience. That's all I'm gonna put it. That's how I'm gonna put it, you know. Because these feelings, right? Once, for example, based upon you, where you were raised, how you was raised, right? In these feelings, you might have things like, I need to learn about this, you know, or this is the purpose that I have, you know, for the world. You understand? These are the things that might be in your feelings, right? And now you are confused right now, thinking that you have to look for a job, do this, do that, do this, do that, right? And then you decide one time to say, okay, let me just get to feel what I really want to do with my life, right? Once you get that, once you can just imagine now, right? Once you can just imagine that, because that's what I'm saying, like, once you can infuse energy, and I'm going back to the point that I wanted to say, like, and I'll come back to the rest, right? That's what I wanted to say, like, I was reading the book Think and Grow Rich, right? Think and Grow Rich, yes. So as I was reading that book, like, so it was the first time reading that book. It was like at night, I was in my bed reading it through my phone, right? Because a friend sent me that, like, it's a PDF of it, you know, a PDF version of that book. So it's like I was reading it, right? And then suddenly, you know, without even knowing, right? I started without even knowing what that actually means, right? This experience that I'm gonna tell you, right? After reading that book, and like as I was reading that book again, I had some of the ideas that just pop up on my mind, right? That never used to pop up on my mind, and they were good ideas. You understand? So that shows I was moving from that direction towards that direction, right? From the conscious to the unconscious, the super conscious, right? So I was now getting these ideas, right? Like thinking like, yo, what if I do this in my neighborhood, you know, to help people around and stuff like that, you know? And I could feel my vibrations raise, and I didn't know that it was my vibrations raise, but I could feel excited, like I felt so excited, and I'm just there laying, imagining that thing, you know, because it came. I think that's what I do every time I sleep, you know. Before I sleep, I get to imagine things, you know. So that day I had a topic, right, and it was through that book. So as I was reading that book, and it spoke about imagination and stuff like that, so I was thinking about those things again, you know, as I'm thinking these ideas, right? And then all of a sudden I thought an idea, right, and I could feel like the energy surge in my body, right? Just like a shock of energy, understand? And it was like coming from down and going up, you know. And when it reached like the top of my head right here, like I felt like I could, you know, that feeling that you feel like you shake up your body, like it like comes once in a while, you know, just on a random basis, and then you feel like shaking your body like this, you know, that yeah, it was like that kind of thing, but it was coming from the spine going up, you know. And it was because of I was thinking those kind of thoughts, right? Then the next thing, you know, I asked on Facebook the next day when I woke up, like, yo, what, you know, on other groups, that conscious groups, so we are talking about these things, and I was like, yo, this happened to me, what does it mean, right? And then that person told me, like, it means that your vibrations were raising, you know, and it was the first time that you were consciously aware of it. You understand? So like in the very same way, right, you might find that, anyway, let me not even go there, right? Let's just go back to our point and close it off, because I wanted to close it off with that statement that I made, like, once you raise your vibrations, you will feel good. You understand? Very, 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 like the good that you cannot describe, because it's like super good. You understand? As I said, when you're conscious and you're feeling good, it's just good. You understand? But when you're super conscious and you're feeling good, it becomes super good. You understand? So, yo, it's a lot, man. It's a lot, guys. You understand? So now, being in this subconscious medium, right, we are learning, right, how to consciously do these things, so that when we go back to this unconscious, we can actually become gods. You understand? Because by the time we reach to that unconscious world with that knowledge in our subconscious, right, or through our subconscious, because the way we pass through this subconscious, it was because of the knowledge that was, or the information that was inside of us before, right? Inside of these bodies. So now these bodies, as they engineer and mix up and become a new body, and new energies flow through it, right? It develops new perspectives, new everything. You understand? So it's like that kind of vibe, you know. Everything just, once we understand how to like consciously know how these things happen, right? How, because yo, it's late, yeah, it's late. Let me light up, yeah. I'm trying to bring these things to that third dimension for all of y'all. You understand? So this is how I'm gonna close this video off, right? I'm gonna tell you like the way through you can communicate through, the way through which you can communicate to source is by raising your vibrations. You don't need to do all the extra rituals. You don't need marijuana. You don't need what they call it, ayahuasca. You don't need shrooms. You don't need like all of these things, right? Like I know about these things because I want to learn new information and certain kind of information, So you don't need all of that. All you need is to raise your vibration. Like the reason that I even made a story, right? I told you all the story that I actually experienced, right? About reading the book. It's because I want to show you that this thing is natural to us. The time that I raised my vibrations, I didn't know. Like it came spontaneously because of how now I was realigning, understand? How now I was, the direction that I was looking at, understand? The direction that I started to face it. And it showed me that, oh, this is exactly source. Because ever since that day, like I've always been exhilarated about life. I've never thought negative. You obviously think negative thoughts about life, but I've never accepted any negative thought about life. I just took it upon myself to say, okay, if everyone can be responsible about their life, I think they can do whatever that they want to do, and be whatever that they want to be. So that's what I'm gonna try to, So that's all, guys. Watch this video a few times till you understand what I'm actually saying. Because only watching this video once, right? It won't help. It won't help because you need to let this gel into your subconscious, right? Then you will naturally redirect your actions according to how it was meant to be, for your alignment and the direction that you need to go in. You'll start having things that you need to do, that are inspired by that goodness. So that's all I'm saying, right? Yeah. And by that time, you're gonna realize that like money and all these other different things, you don't need them. You understand? All you need is to raise your vibrations. And like for me, smoking weed actually lowers my vibration because I'm always super. You understand? And now when I smoke weed, I can actually bring these concepts, because the only thing I can do, right, when I'm just imagining alone, I can think about this concept, but I never think about how I can relate them to other people, right? And now I notice something that like every time I smoke marijuana, I like connect with the source, like that. Understand? And once that happens, it's like you're connected to everything. You can look at something and detect something about it that thing needs, and it doesn't detect itself, whereas it has its own like survival, or like I could call survival mechanism that is natural, that is given by source, but it can't detect the thing that you can detect from it, that it needs to move forward, things like that. Yo, hippie soul in the building, man. Hit those subscribers, man. Hit those. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like, hit. You know what I'm saying? Because like, we need to ascend, right? So we need to get to a certain level of subscriptions, and then we do live streams, and then we put all our investments into this, right? Like, time investment. Time is an investment, right?